Hello everyone and welcome inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center inside here in Durham, Oshawa, and thankfully we're inside. It is blistering cold out. The St. Lawrence Surge here for one of the final matchups of the season, and I'm Sean McLeod, joined by my broadcast colleague as always, Ryan Vieira, and very quickly your starters for tonight: Brianna Morrison, Hannah Himonen, Hannah Oak, Emily Glendinning, and Anika Leverage, your Durham Lords. And on the other side, Emma Bathwell, Georgia DeGroot, Lauren Smith, Lauren Mullen, and Ella Van Hall for the visiting St. Lawrence Surge. Ryan, chilly one outside, but expecting a hot start here for the 10-1 Lords. What are you expecting?
Well, things better get warmer inside here, I'll say. Durham Lords, we're mentioning it all this time. Third last game of the regular season, like you mentioned, Sean. They'll look to really test themselves against the number 3 seed, behind them by a little bit of a margin in the St. Lawrence Surge tonight.
Shea Lippman into the paint, and it's no good. Leverage kicks it out for Morrison. So it is Shea Lippman in the starting lineup, not Hannah Himonen. And the pass, it's immediately jumped by Morrison, looking to get the Lords on the board, and it's the first 2 points of the game.
Big 2 points for Morrison, too. We mentioned in the past couple broadcasts she's kind of struggled to score at home, more on the road, but lately she's been picking it back up, and she's off to a good start tonight.
And she always finds ways to get her points, even when she's struggling.
Especially in the second half of most of the game as well. Picks it up.
And that will be a Lord's ball as DeGroot headed to the ground, but unable to get there in time to save it. Morrison still right up there in terms of scorers in the OCAA as well, currently second in that category with 20.6. And Glendinning, it's her first shot of the evening, and she's been hot recently as well.
Especially from three-point land, the Lord's best three-point shooter on the season, picking up right where she left off early on. Good start for Durham.
And the Surge break the press, but the pass goes wayward at the end as Van Hall is unable to do anything with it. There'll be a quick timeout from the Surge. A bit discombobulated to start for St. Lawrence. Very
discombobulated. Things really scrambly, especially on the offensive front. Not a lot of offense going whatsoever for this St. Lawrence team. Really scrambly in both ends, like I mentioned. But Durham taking advantage early, getting the ball quickly, moving it around, beating St. Lawrence to every basic move they can, and they're taking advantage early. And this has forced Taryn Turnbull to call the first time out of the game, not even 2 minutes in.
And it's really interesting looking at the top of the East, as you said. St. Lawrence in third, back 5 games of Durham. Big matchup with Algonquin awaits on the horizon. A little bit of work left for Durham to get there intact with that one loss. And that one game there at the end could decide who comes out of the OCAA East.
Very well. Very last game of the season, too. That'll be interesting because Algonquin also with a game in hand on Durham. They have 3 games left in their season as well. Durham will have 2 left after tonight.
Algonquin currently undefeated, 10-0. Like I said, Durham 10-1. And then St. Lawrence, as we mentioned, 5-4. It's not often you see a spread like that in a division from 2nd to 3rd seed.
Yeah, you can call it close, but not that close.
Lippman playing some tough defense, and Morrison tries to get in on the passing lane again and is unable to get in there for the second time. And that's a rebound from DeGroot. Mullen, and unable to get over the outstretched hands of Emily Glendinning.
A little more offensive structure you saw a little bit from the St. Louis Surge. Now they're supporting each other, supporting those extra passes to kind of open things up to an extra couple of shots, but unfortunately for them, to no avail off a timeout.
And Lippman Gets a double team. DeGroot gets tripped up on Glendening. So that'll stay with the surge. So Smith will inbound it. She finds Bathwell. Smith gets it back. DeGroot. Bathwell kicks it out, and ball poked loose by Glendening and regathered by Mullen at the spin move off glass and gets the rebound. DeGroot and nets it.
Just what St. Lawrence needed. Again, like I mentioned, more crisp ball movement as opposed to the start of the game where things were really scrambly, but now they've adjusted here. They've had the ball for most of the time since that timeout.
Morrison cuts back door, and that's far too easy.
There's the response the Lords are looking for. You don't need a lot of ball possession, just as long as you can move it around crisply, and you can take advantage of this game big time.
And 4 points on the night for Morrison. Leverage gets the steal and isn't able to convert. Mullen. And the ball will be moved up to DeGroot. Bathwell. A three-point shot, no good from Smith. Glendening. She pulls it back in transition. Morrison gets a screen, and the mid-range Jimmy is no good.
Tough shot as well for Morrison, too. A lot of surge players converted on her. It was a double team, which allowed them to get the ball back.
And there's another steal from Morrison. It gets poked up to Lippman, and it's 9-2. Durham all over the start of this game.
And also this counts for Durham's transition game too. A lot of loose balls have been able to be poked away, and a couple home run passes early on. Monica Leverage was sent alone and couldn't bury it, but then on the second chance, on the second breakaway, Lippman able to bury that.
So Glendening will come off. We'll see 3 substitutions for the Durham Lords as we see Kendra Oliver come back in, and we'll see Deja Thompson come in as well.
Thompson was a bit questionable to start this game as well, Sean. We saw her not taking part of the warm-ups, but sure enough, the Lords have one of their weapons off the
back to the lineup as we head towards playoff season here in the OCAA.
That'll be key for Durham to get all these extra bodies back, get healthy for the playoffs, for hopefully a big playoff run with everybody healthy.
Hannah Hamanen also back in for the Lords. And Deja puts up a tough shot and tries to get the rebound, isn't able to do so.
Wow. Thought that ball for sure would.
Duel. She'll be an interesting one to watch here for the Surge. Leading the team in scoring. So it's out of bounds. 18.6 points a game on the season for Duel. The ball gets kicked out and netted. Mallon with the mid-range jumper. Deja gets it in transition. She'll do well to pass it out, but it's a bit too strong for Kendra Oliver.
One thing I'm noticing too here on the Lord's bench, right when I said it's important to get bodies back, Hannah Oak, and a little discomfort looks like getting her hand checked out on the Lord's bench as we have a timeout.
So 9-4 halfway through the opening quarter here. First game of a doubleheader. And back in the building, we see Lord Durham banging on the drum. We got somebody that just walked in, clanging two pans together.
Haven't seen him a lot this year, Lord Durham.
He's been making noise here tonight. He has a drum that he's been banging on. He's been doing good stuff.
Yeah. Love to see the energy too. Again, not a lot of times you've seen Lord Durham in this year. I think this is the first time I've actually seen him as a member of this broadcast crew.
So another timeout. We'll see what the Lords come back out with. A hot start has kind of went by the wayside as the substitutions have came back in. Shea Littman will come in off the bench as the lone substitution through that timeout.
And if you're the Seneca Surge, just got those last 2 points off a bit of an open shot there. A little bit defensive breakdown by Durham. And on the scoreboard on the OCAA website, it says 9-5, but I thought that extra jump shot was a 2.
I believe it was, so can probably expect that to get fixed.
And they have the score correct here. It's 9-6, or maybe a little more here. Look out.
Gillian strips the ball, and it's Oliver with the rebound.
He's a little scrambly for the Lords after these 2 timeouts by the Surge. Unable to get ball possession after both of them, and St. Lawrence scoring off both timeouts.
The ball attempted to get into Oliver there from Littman. And it's a foul picked up by Perot.
We see Brianna Morrison come back in for Shea Littman.
It definitely seems like the Lords have had a short bench for a long time. There's a lot of options and rotational chances there, and some great defense from Laura Mullen. Absolutely for nothing as Morrison just comes out with better shot making with a hand all over her face.
Brianna Morrison off to a great start too. The start we would expect from a player of her caliber. Leading the Lords.
That's an over
6
and back
already.
Graham gets it poked loose, but the ball went off of her and then over, so she had to gather it, but that, once again, an over and back. I mean, if you're the Surge, you have to worry about Brianna Morrison getting hot early. Like we said, she usually, well, at least sometimes can struggle to get going in the first half of a game, but you get going in the first quarter, who knows what she's capable of putting up. She gets the ball back, hands it off to Deja. Tough shot off glass, and it's Morrison there for the rebound and the putback.
Good to see Brianna Morrison into it early, all around the net, getting those extra shots, able to get those extra bank-ins, and taking advantage early. 8 points in the night already.
Oliver picking up another rebound. Come on in transition, and tough shot. Oliver once again. It's her third rebound since coming in off the bench, and she'll head to the line looking for her first points in a while.
And that's what the Lords have missed as well from Kendra Oliver. Those rebounds, the extra ball control around the net on both sides of the court. The Lords will get that back, hopefully for the playoffs.
So Kendra Oliver on the board. Welcome back. And she looks to go 2 for 2 at the line. And does nets it.
That's a welcome sight.
Gillian with another ball poked loose. The Surge really have been susceptible to that here tonight. And another one. Deja this time with the steal. Oliver gets it in transition. 3-point shot for Morrison, and a rare miss for her tonight. So Lewis unable to save it inbounds. Be St. Lawrence's ball.
They'll make some changes too. We've seen a lot of quick changes from both sides tonight, Sean. Lords quickly switching players in and out. St. Louis switching players in and out. Not sure if this is mentality-wise come playoff time, but
Pimanen pokes it loose, and she was the last to touch it. Duel is right there. And once again, another ball poked loose by the Durham Lords, who have had a number of those here tonight. The ball kicked in, attempted to get passed out to Duel, and Hamanen bobbles it. Gillian with a shot no good, and Morrison picks up the rebound, gets stripped down low. So Hamanen comes away with it after a helter-skelter moment in the paint, and a turnover. So Duel brings it up over the logo. You can really see the Lords are attempting to pressure that first pass as they come over the half-court line. It's where a number of those poked balls have turned into steals or have went out of bounds, and another one there.
Most definitely. That's been key for the Lords for most of this first quarter. We haven't seen it early, but especially later on in the last few minutes, we've seen that extra ball pressure coming. A big adjustment made on that front, not allowing St. Lawrence to get anything going.
And the ball out of bounds is Duel unable to keep possession. Into the final 2 minutes here of the first quarter, 15-6. Durham leads. Deja looking to find Shea Littman cutting back door.
Important to note, looks like Hannah Oak's going to be okay for the time being. Just had to have her, I believe it's her left hand looked at, as she has that little bandage on one of her fingers there.
That's always a good sign, especially as you're getting depth back. You don't want to immediately lose that.
Oh, exactly. Will be the worst thing. One comes in, you lose another.
But what a difference a year makes. This time, well, not quite this time. It would have been near March this time last year due to COVID. But at points, this women's basketball team was working with a bench of like 7 or 6 people in a rotation. And here they are with a full depth of players to choose from.
Yeah, we just saw a couple weeks ago, too, the Georgian Grizzlies only have 5 players to work with on their women's side. So it's not fun when you only have limited numbers on your bench, so not that great at all.
Morrison into the double digits. That's 10 points in the opening quarter. Brianna Morrison.
Like you said, Sean, if she can get going early, who knows what she can do the rest of the way.
Mid-range jumper, and it's all good from Perot.
Hannah Oak might have got fouled there as she took a charge, but I guess not.
And a three-point play, the old-fashioned way, as Brianna Morrison is just on a tear to open up this game.
Like I said, that comes from being persistent around the ball. All around it, taking stretch passes, from taking stretch passes to being all around the net. Brianna Morrison all over the ball in this game, and it's paying off for her early with 12 points now.
So a timeout called here as we tick into the final minute of play here in the first quarter. We've talked about it at length with Brianna Morrison coming out, woman on a mission, 12 points and a couple of rebounds to her name as well. How big has that performance been to open up this game so far?
Really big. That's over half of Durham's points right there, and again, it's good to see Morrison getting into this groove at this point of the year. Playoffs are coming up. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who the Lords might face? But no matter who they face, they're going to need not just their top players, but all their players going. And Brianna Morrison certainly living up to that potential tonight.
Kendra Oliver contributing with 2 points at the line. Shea Littman with 2 points as well. Shea Littman with the total student-athlete experience here today. Goes from working downtown at the OUA curling championships. I believe she was either doing scorekeeping or timekeeping, one or the other. Comes back right onto the practice.
Busy day.
Busy day.
Don't know how you can keep up with schedules like that, but sure enough, it is a Friday night. It is the weekend, so hopefully no other work will be acquired. Just take it easy.
So Sarah Dennis in for the Lords. And that'll be Lord's ball with 41.4 to go here in the first quarter. Morrison. Ball is poked loose as it was attempted to hand off to Shea Littman.
But it might have been a kickball too by Littman. Might have got lucky.
Yeah, I thought the group got a bit more than a hand on it. And what a finish. Deja Thompson gets on the board.
Great pivot there by Thompson in the paint. Had limited space to work with, but she made the most of it with that nice evasive move.
And a shot from deep, no good from Gillian. Ball will stay with the Surge. Its call was a jump ball. And the possession arrow points their way. Quick substitution. They'll get Graham back in. Graham inbounds it to Mullen, and time expires here in the first quarter, 22-8. And it's been the Brianna Morrison show, 13 points. I mean, we've talked about her a lot already, but it's tough to ignore. She has been the heartbeat of this Durham Lords women's basketball team all season long, and continuing to do so here tonight, averaging 20.6 points a game in the OCAA, and well on her way to doing that again here tonight.
And for the Lords, like I said, hopefully she gets that groove, and she does get that success, especially this time of the year. You need your top players going, your top guns going, and especially tonight, you're looking for things to be easy, looking for things to go your way, especially in terms of working on the things you want to work on the most. Durham has some time left in the season to still get down to doing that stuff before towards the end of the season. And we'll see how the rest of things go tonight, especially from St. Lawrence's side. Things have been really rough, especially in those last 5 minutes of the quarter. They had a couple of their moments, but overall, Durham just dominating in ball possession.
Yeah, St. Lawrence held to 8 points in the first quarter, shooting 30% from the field, which is not good. And really haven't been able to get on track from behind the arc either, shooting 0 of 2. So haven't attempted a lot of them, but what they've attempted hasn't fallen either way. Turnovers are relatively close, 11-7 in favor of Durham, who only have 7 on the night.
Well, again, most of those struggles from St. Lawrence's offensive perspective come from ball management by the Lords. And we mentioned not just the offense, but the defense chipping in, pressuring the ball carriers on each side in St. Lawrence, really contributing to getting that ball possession back. And then the transition game kicks in with a couple of stretch passes to separate themselves from the play. And Durham keep on doing that. You should have a easy way to end off this game, and St. Lawrence would have some big time adjustments to make the rest of the way.
So Littman inbounding it to Morrison as we get the second quarter started, and a big-time screen from Deja Thompson gets absolutely blown up from Graham.
Both of them look like they took the worst of that hit. That was almost like an old-school hockey collision right there.
Yeah, I don't think there was a fun end to that on either side. Duel, who really hasn't been able to get on track throughout the first portion of this game, puts up a wild shot. That's no good.
Gonna get a foul here, though. Looks like St. Lawrence will be going to the free throw line for the first time. Well, maybe not. Thought it might have been the act of shooting, but I guess not. They'll still be inbounding it.
So Gilligan inbounding it for the St. Lawrence Surge, and we'll see Leverage come in. And Sarah Dennis heads off.
Leverage comes in for number 22, Sarah Dennis.
Duel for 3 and gets fouled out on the 3-point line. And that is just an undisciplined foul there from Hannah Oak.
Yeah, you can see Oak a little upset at herself right there after that. Maybe even looking for a dive there too. But nevertheless, it's a three-point play opportunity here for St. Lawrence. First time they've been at the line tonight.
Oak is arguing that Duel pushed off to create the contact. I mean, I don't know if I see that. That's a kind way of putting that. But I get you argue it, we might get it down the line, I suppose.
Well, maybe at some point this game, referees might take notes and remember for next time if they see something similar like that the rest of the way.
So Ella Duel gets another bucket, this time by way of a three-point foul from Hannah Oak. Thompson pivots and puts up a tough shot. Fighting for the rebound, Oak is unable to come away with it. Duel, and the ball finds its way into the hands of Laura Mullen. Van Hall, Duel, and you don't want to see her heat up. Like I said, she's averaging 18 points in the OCAA this season and can get the surge back into this game in a hurry. Thompson, the mid-range jumper. That's no good. Gilligan gets the ball back and puts it off of the rim and glass. And the rebound just unable to get controlled by Oak. And there's Duel once again. With 6 points on the night, all of a sudden, she's starting to heat up.
Struggled early on, and you mentioned 18 points per game in the OCAA. But top players take time. We've seen it with Brianna Morrison before. They take the time to get going sometimes, and sure enough, Duel with a couple big plays, big-time points early on in this quarter.
And Duel is also looking for the shots right now, which she definitely was not doing in the opening quarter. Morrison with the rebound. 7 minutes and 46 seconds left before halftime. And Durham currently leads 26-12. Morrison gets in deep, and she's been automatic when she gets that close to the bucket.
First couple points in this second quarter. About to say Morrison trailing off a bit, but she picks right back up where she left off.
Duel with a sneaky handoff to Van Hall. And the Surge definitely looking more engaged in this game here in the second quarter.
Especially when they came out in the first. Not a lot of ball management, careless ball management at that by St. Lawrence, but now they've realized the stakes and they're taking their time and moving the ball around a little bit.
Ball into Hannah Oak. Gets tied up and coming away with it as Van Hall heads to the ground.
Looks like Hannah Oak's going to get another foul here. It's on Thompson.
We're going to see a quadruple substitution for the Lords, and there's that deep bench coming into effect.
Yep, for the first time in this quarter, I believe. As we mentioned, both teams really kind of resting their players on and off a little bit. Not a lot of extra long shifts, but it's worked out, especially from Durham's perspective.
Oliver back in along with Glendening, Himonen, and Lewis for the Lords. And ball tied up. This time it'll be a foul called, actually.
Looks like it's going to go the way of the Lords.
Himonen gets it over half, and Duel picks her up. Lewis finds Thompson, and Thompson runs into a wall of legs, but that will be a foul on the Surge.
Foul called on Surge, number 14, Lauren Smith.
almost surprised that wasn't in the act of shooting.
A little bit, yeah. It looked like Thompson had a break to the net there a little bit. Could have had a chance to lay it up, but they chose to call the inbound.
DeGroot hands it off to Duel with a little Euro step and misses the bucket. Ball ripped away from Oliver.
Once again, the Lords pressuring that ball handler, and another thing they've done well is tonight too, getting to the bottom of the net and hooking that ball up first, showing that extra little bit of fight.
DeGroot for three, and no good. Blending. She'll hand it off to Hamanen, who slows down the offense. Oliver for three.
Welcome back, Kendra Oliver.
Oliver's been looking good tonight, moving well.
And like I said, the Lords have missed her, especially on the rebound front. Also provides the offense too.
And that'll be a 3-second call, so ball heads over to the Durham Lords. Longtime Lords fans, as we get a timeout called from the Durham Lords. Longtime Durham Lords fans will remember that 2019-2020 women's basketball team that had so many great players on it. Didn't go as far as they wanted to in the playoffs, and I believe they ran into Algonquin in the final game of the season and just weren't able to keep their legs under them. But Kendra Oliver and Sierra Oliver were at the spearhead of that attack on offense and were such a dynamic duo. So to be able to get Kendra Oliver back and get her engaged and really playing more of a big role here in this team.
Most definitely. And it's all about the experience. Kendra Oliver brings that extra experience, like you mentioned, from that 2020 team. A lot of big things said about them. So if Oliver can bring that success to this Lords team with all the star talent they have, the hard workers out there, then maybe this team could be just as hyped, if not maybe more hyped, than the team a couple of years ago.
Yeah, like last year, she wasn't able to play. And it also felt like last year that the women's basketball team really lacked an identity for the good portion of the season until really halfway through it. They found Brianna Morrison and started playing a bit bigger as a team. Glendening for three, and this one no good. This year, a very defined personality for this Durham Lords squad.
I was just about to say, this year, completely different story for Durham. They have more of an offensive attack. They have more defensive structure, and sure enough, it's shown throughout the regular season.
Kendra Oliver to Lewis with a mid-ranger, and Glendening, I think, was maybe looking for the pass off the cut.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it might have been a potential pass to the other side as well, a bank pass, but to no avail to Glendening.
So DeGroot with the rebound. Passes out to Mullen and a mid-range jumper. This one was no good from Lauren Smith. 31-16, the Durham Lord leads, keeps growing.
Gonna have a foul coming up here to Alicia Lewis. Not in the act of shooting either.
Smith drives in and no good. Leverage with the rebound, and the Durham Lords have a huge lineup by their standards out there. Littman, ooh, and that was a tough fall for Hannah Hamanen.
Second big-time collision we've seen this quarter, Sean. We saw Thompson get into one right at the start, and then Hamanen right there took a big collision too. Not sure if it was a set screen that you just ran into, or if it was actually intentional or not. We can never tell with those types of plays, but tough fall for Hamanen.
Yeah, I mean, good to see her get back up in a hurry too, because that did not sound good.
Nope.
That didn't sound great at all.
How hard it was, then yeah.
Faked out to the perimeter. Gilligan for three, no good. So it'll stay with the Surge as they get another crack at the basket. Duel driving in on leverage, and the ball gets poked loose.
There's Oliver right in the middle of it again on defense.
And Glendening in transition, picking up another 2 points. That's 5 on the night for Glendening.
And again, that all starts with the transition game. A couple quick passes catching the St. Louis Surge off guard, and the Lord's able to break in way too easy.
Substitution for Surge, number 23. Ella Van Hall steps onto the court.
So Van Hall comes in. And we'll see Perreault head off for the Surge. Duel gets lost on the inbound and almost hit on the wrist once again. That time it was a bit late, so nothing to call. Duel matched up on leverage. It was a poked loose ball last time. This time she kicks it off to the corner. And leverage with the rebound. Littman gets it poked loose. Gilligan finishes for the Surge. 33-18 into the final 3 minutes of play here before half.
We've seen both teams kind of get scrambling with the ball at times, but on the other hand as well, they've both been able to pressure the ball handler too. We saw those last couple points there from the Surge.
And Gilligan, back-to-back buckets.
St. Lawrence started to put together a little bit of a run here, lead only down to 13. So we get some life before the end of this half, then that could be something huge going into halftime and for the start of the second.
Possession's been a bit loose for the Lords over the past few minutes, and Glendening with a great defense and a block, and Lilia Graham heads to the ground.
You mentioned Durham, things getting really scrambly these last few minutes.
There's been some tough falls here tonight. Graham on the receiving end of the latest one. She'll head out.
And
Hannah Oak comes back in for the Lords, as well as Brianna Morrison. Ball kicked out to Mullen. Oliver moves it up to Hamanen. Glendening looking for Oak in the paint, and it's Van Hall who disrupts the play. 13-point lead for the Lords. It's been dwindling over the past few minutes. Duel, no good. Oak gets tied up, and Van Hall rips it away.
There's that pressure again. Both teams showing a real aggressive edge on defense, especially in this second quarter. It's going to lead to Lords getting the ball back though off the foul, but we mentioned the tight ball handling, the ball pressure coming in for both teams, especially Durham, which has led to most of their success. But things have been a little bit. How can I put this? Loose
Yeah.
for a little bit for the Durham Lords these last couple minutes. So let's see how they get this quarter off.
That's one way to tighten it up. Just like Kendra Oliver cooking the post. She's been looking good tonight.
Yeah, Kendra Oliver up to 7 points now. Just the Lords needed as Oliver not missing a beat, coming back and playing just like she never left.
What a shot. Perreault, 35-22. 43 seconds left here in the first half. Pass goes out to Hamanen, and a bit too strong. It'll be gathered up by Gilligan. Gilligan almost gets it tied up by Brianna Morrison, dumps it off, and she'll grab the rebound. and gets whacked on the wrist. I believe that was Deja Thompson.
Foul. Deja Thompson.
Yeah, Deja Thompson picking up the foul.
That's going to be her fourth, too.
St. Lawrence Surge is number 3, Allison.
She's got to be careful the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's a crazy. I can't believe that's real. I gotta imagine that. I gotta imagine that's a box score error.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a couple this quarter, but maybe 3 I would have been shocked at, but 4 maybe a little bit.
Yeah, that's
too high.
Little suspicious.
Yeah, especially this time of the game.
Especially since she's not coming out.
I know. So a couple things we're noticing in the score box tonight in the OCAA.
Hannah Oak drops it off, and Morrison no good. Shot clock has a 1 second difference between the game clock as Gilligan lets it roll out of bounds. It'll stay with the Surge as they have 6.3 seconds left. 7 seconds showing on the shot clock. Now the shot clock's been turned off. Into the paint. Oliver with some defense. And tough work down low for Mullen. Surge will get one more crack at it. 1.2 seconds left, so you get maybe one dribble at most. You got to put this up in a hurry if you're the Surge. You also have to inbound it in a hurry. Duel gets the shot off, and it's a wedgie.
Tuck right between the rim and the back of that square on the white box. Got to get that down. And they do.
They do. Ella Duel, I mean, she cheered that on like she made it, and hey, I get it.
It would have been a big shot, too. It would have been a 3-point shot, making this a 9-point game going into halftime, but instead the Lords up by 12. So we'll see if Durham adjusts a little bit. As like I said, that's the end of that second quarter was a bit loosey-goosey, but we'll see what adjustments Trillen Chance wants to make, or if he has anything to say after that quarter.
All right, Brianna Morrison, 15 points. Kendra Oliver with 7. Emily Glendinning with 5. And on the flip side, Ella Duel and Amber Perreault with 6. And Melissa Gilligan with 5. We'll be back here in about 14 minutes right here on the Durham Lords coverage of tonight's OCAA action. are back here inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center in the Durham Lords Gymnasium. And the Durham Lords currently lead the St. Lawrence Surge 35-23, and Brianna Morrison with 15 points in the first half. We'll see if she's able to continue that hot streak here, as Duel is unable to open the scoring for the St. Louis Surge, or the St. Lawrence Surge, sorry. Morrison kicks it out to Glendening, who's wide open, and a rare wide open miss for her.
Yeah, we don't see Glendening miss that much from three-point land. She's only had only a handful of three-point shots today. I believe that was only her third opportunity from out high, but doesn't make the most of that one.
Duel runs into a wall, all in with her first 3 points of the game.
Big time shot there, and now, like I mentioned, the chance for the St. Louis Surge to make it a game, but never mind.
And Brianna Morrison, she's just so smooth when she gets time to work, finds a little bit of space, and just 19 points on the night. And the ball heads out of bounds from DeGroot, who has had some interesting moments to start here.
And we mentioned Morrison in that second quarter. She kind of cooled off a little bit, just 2 points, but picking right back up where she left off, scoring all 4 of the Lord's points here. I think it's 5. They put it as a 2, I think, in the OCAA website again, it looks like.
So Gilligan, that's her 7th point of the night. By Mullen. And Gilligan's having some trouble getting it over half. Finally gets there just in the nick of time.
Another big collision there, Sean.
Yeah, there's been a few of those here tonight.
Yeah, not sure if nobody's looking where they're going, but we've seen a couple big collisions.
I'm not sure if Ella Duel is the one you want setting that screen. She's your leading scorer.
Nope. I don't want to see anything bad happen to her if she takes a big time fall, like we've seen a couple times this game.
So Duel brings it up. Mullen. Finds Duel, who cuts in and tries to hand the pass off to Graham. Ball stays in bounds somehow. Mid-range shot, no good. Duel with a rebound immediately puts it back up and right into the hands of Emily Glendening.
Give it another shot clock violation there on the Surge. Again, taking a little too much time moving that ball around and almost getting herself a little confused and not a lot of communication, which almost led to another violation.
Oliver and the other end of this two-headed attack for the Durham Lords tonight. Kendra Oliver has come back and has 9 points on the evening.
Put up a strong offensive and defensive performance for Durham. Exactly what the Lords missed out of her. See her still trying to get back to full health a little bit. You can see the brace on that kneecap a little bit, but getting back to full strength, the right weights and on. We still got a full half to play here, Sean.
Yeah, I still can't believe that's true, because if she had 4, conventional wisdom tells you to sit her until the 4th quarter.
Right? She wouldn't be playing yet, right?
So
you'd have to sit her for a little while until at least the 4th, yeah.
So Deja Thompson sitting on some undetermined amount of fouls. At some point, if she does enough of them, she will foul out. We'll just find out how many that takes to get there.
Well, we'll just have to see. We'll never know until the next one comes, but hopefully that's not the case.
Thompson,
they got to travel though.
Yeah, with the turnover. DeGroot almost turns it back in kind. Kind whistle
almost
from the ref.
stepped out too early there, yeah.
Kind whistle from the ref. Perot with a tough shot. It'll stay with the Surge. They'll get another crack at it. Duel. Gilligan and An ill-advised pass to Perot. That'll be Lord's ball.
Seen a few of those ill-advised passes, and that's mostly because the Lords, again, crushing the ball carrier, forcing some mistakes to be made from that ball carrier of the St. Louis Surge, forcing turnovers back on their side and getting ball possession. That's been a big factor tonight for Durham.
And back in for the Lords after a short rest is Kendra Oliver and Shea Lippman, as well as we see Oak and Glendening come out. And still that quick rotation for the Lords still in effect. And Hamanen skies out of bounds. But it'll be St. Lawrence ball. Gilligan for three, bounces around, and it's Lewis who picks up the rebound for the Lords. Lippman leading the charge. Hamanen kicks it out. Thompson dumps it off to Lewis off glass, and it's good.
Good smart ball movement there by Durham. Back and forth passing. Thompson able to find Lewis wide open. Didn't even have to move much to take that pass. It just lays that one up and in.
A lot of contact. I think that foul's probably on Oliver, although Lewis was in the vicinity.
It is on Oliver, yeah. That'll be her first.
So Oliver coming in off the bench. 11 points so far. She's been significant for the Lords. And Perot makes the first of two. And it's 2 of 2.
Perot will take over the point scoring lead on the night for St. Lawrence with 8 now. A lot of depth scoring that St. Lawrence has on this team. Not anybody that appeals out to you like like Morrison on Durham's side, but we have a foul here.
So that'll send Deja Thompson to the line. And it's Dole who picks up the foul. Dole, their leading scorer on the season. That's her second of the night. First team foul for St. Lawrence in the quarter. It's the second.
Thompson's needed those few points. She's been struggling a little bit tonight. Up to just 4 points on the night, but we'll see if that can get her going the back half of this game.
I'm almost surprised we didn't find out if
she got the fifth. Yeah, I was going to say.
A lot of contact, but no call.
Yeah, they had a contact there, but maybe Deja got a bit lucky.
And Thompson will poke it out of bounds. It'll be Surge ball.
How about a chat with the referee while she's at it too?
Substitution for Lords, number 10, Hannah Oak steps onto the coach.
Hannah Oak will replace Lewis on the court. Oliver cuts in and gets a good look at it. He's just not able to finish. Spinning shot. Rebound gets gobbled up by Hamanen. It was Van Hall who put up the shot. Hamanen gets a screen from Oak, opts not to use it. Lippman out to Oliver. She gets a screen and it's in and out. Oliver's gone a bit cold over the past 2 minutes.
Yeah, showing a lot of confidence though. We saw her drive to the basket a couple times prior to that shot she took.
And what a 3-point shot from Laura Mullen. 6 points on the night for her.
Big one too. Look out, it's only an 8-point game now.
Glendening.
13 points for St. Lawrence in this quarter.
Emily Glendening readying up at the table. Get some words of wisdom from Sherlyn Chance, the head coach of the Durham Lords.
Now they'll get the chance to make the switch. Morrison coming in too, looks like.
Substitution for Lords, number 14, Emily Glendening, and number 3, Brianna Morrison steps onto the court.
Just waiting to see who ends up going off. It's Oliver.
And substitution for Surge.
Lords. There we go.
Yeah, I thought it was Thompson the way she was walking to the bench, but no, it's going to be Littman who heads off. And these are a couple big ads to get back on the court here. Durham only 12 points in the quarter. And a lot of the majority of them have come from Brianna Morrison. So in order to get the offense going again, you got to roll with the players that have been doing it for you tonight.
Duel, and that will be a foul on Deja Thompson. So
now we'll get to see.
Deja Thompson.
And there's a discussion going on with Sherlyn Chance.
That might actually be her fifth, yeah.
That might actually be her fifth.
Yeah.
Substitution number 4, Shane Littman.
They didn't officially say, but since Thompson's heading off, she might be done for the night. I don't think she has 6. Look at this.
Yeah, like
on the website. Something must be wrong here, but Thompson must be in foul trouble though.
Yeah.
It's at least 3. Wow. So it would make sense to take her off and save her for the 4th.
Yeah, I mean,
counted.
If I had to guess, she's sitting on 4 at the moment, probably.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
They've probably pulled her off until the 4th quarter, and you can probably expect to see her around the 5-minute mark. Brianna Morrison for 3.
What'd I tell you, Sean?
22 points on the night for Brianna Morrison.
I've been driving this offense all night long as Morrison. Get her back on the court, and sure enough, Lords get the offensive flow right back on their side. Up 11.
Van Hall dribbles it out, and shot clock was winding down, didn't have a lot of options. A minute 20 left, 50-39. Oak. All good there.
Good little jumper. I initially thought Oak was going to pass it to the cutter back door, but opted to take the shot herself and gets the benefit of the doubt.
Oak with 4 points on the night. And Duel heads to the line. She'll pick up the foul on Oak, going the other way. So the Surge will call a timeout. They had a squadron of players ready to come in. Probably a good idea to just make sure they're all on the same page. The comeback has been faltered a little bit as Brianna Morrison entered back into the game. As you mentioned, 22 points on the night. And really has been a difference maker throughout the season, but tonight especially has just been so hard for the Surge to stop.
Big time, and like I mentioned, Morrison not really big on scoring at home, but last game we saw her put up, what was it, 25? Yeah. Last time the Lords were home last week, and now up in the 20s once again. So good to see from Morrison getting more confidence into her game as we approach playoff time. And Durham again, the offense has been there at times with Morrison on the court, but it all starts again from ball management. On the defensive side, not giving St. Lawrence a lot of options throughout the game. Pressuring the ball handler once again. Quick outlet passes underneath the rim. The generic stuff you need in tight games like this one. And Durham, let's see if they can bring this third quarter home up with a comforting score here.
So Brianna Morrison with 22, Kendra Oliver with 11, but underneath them it's been a struggle when Morrison heads off the court. Glendening hasn't really been herself here tonight with 5 points. Littman with 4, Oak with 4, Thompson with 4. but some troubling shooting numbers from Deja Thompson. 1 of 7 on the night, and I mean, she's been a reliable member of the bench mob here for the Durham Lords.
Especially off the bench too. We talked about her impact off the bench, but not too much the case tonight. We know she's in foul trouble for sure. Maybe save her for the fourth quarter a little bit. And Emily Glendinning too. We talked about her a little bit as well. 1 for 3 from 3-point range, 2 for 4 overall from the field. So hasn't gotten a lot of shooting opportunities either.
Oak throws an elbow, and the immediate foul call there.
Now Hannah Oak's into some foul trouble too, just like that. That's 3 on the night for her, I believe.
Ball into the paint, and it's stolen. Brianna Morrison hands it off, and just like that, Glendinning gets back onto the board here, and that's 7 points on the night for her.
And a nice little dish as well from Morrison, and again, the transition, defense to offense, pays off again for Durham.
Himonen moves the ball up the floor. Morrison to Littman, and Littman almost bounces in off of a block.
Well, Littman took that shot for herself, and I'm not even sure if it was a pass that just deflected or went off the basket or not, but nonetheless, the Lords are going to take a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter.
So it's the end of the third quarter. It's been a bit back and forth here in the second half. 54-40, Durham Lord leads. A lot of that lead is attributed to Brianna Morrison tonight. 22 points. I mean, we've exhausted the superlatives for her. Glendinning coming on a little bit there at the end, 7 points. And Kendra Oliver, a welcome addition back to this Durham Lord side with 11 points and 6 rebounds. Glendinning with 6 rebounds. And on the other side, Amber Perot with 8. Gilligan has picked up a bunch of easy buckets for 7. And Ella Duell, who has been their leading scorer throughout this year, with just 7 points and has yet to hit a 3. And Laura Mullen shooting 100% from 3, 2 and 2. So what do you make of that third quarter there, Ryan?
Well, back and forth like you mentioned, Sean. First half of that third was I don't want to say dominated, but really owned most of the time by the Surge. They had a lot of ball movement, momentum going their way, hitting some big time shots. But then Durham took over as soon as Brianna Morrison came back on the floor. It was all Durham for the rest of that quarter. It seemed like the offense was a little bit better, the defense remained strong, and at least the Durham taking this 14-point lead to the final quarter of play here. We'll see how they close things out.
So the Durham Lords women's basketball team, looking to make it 11-1 on the season, has 10 minutes of work left to do here in the fourth quarter against the St. Lawrence Surge, up 14. Tough to believe there's only 3 games left in the OCAA season.
No, you're telling me what a fast season this has been. Durham only, 2 games left after tonight, Sean?
Yeah. I mean, it's wild.
It's winding down fast, but the important thing is, the good news is, the playoffs are right around the corner. So
yeah,
completely new season starts in basketball, you can say. Playoffs.
Oliver getting tied up. Glendinning for 3. And she's feeling it once again.
There's that 3-point shooter we can expect. Glendinning, not a lot of shots taken tonight, as I mentioned. The Surge doing a good job of keeping her limited to shots, but when she gets those open shots like that, she can make the most of them.
So 10 points on the night for Glendinning. Averages about 13. Littman puts it up in transition, and Oliver just overruns it slightly. Smith, and Glendinning unable to track it down. It'll be duel for 3, and she's 0-3 on the night.
Too short on that one.
Substitution for Surge. Number 23, Van Hall steps up to the court.
So Ella Van Hall will come back in for the surge. Morrison kicks it out to Glendinning. Oliver off glass and good.
Like I said, Oliver looking very confident in her return to the lineup tonight. She's made a couple of power moves down under the basket. Couple shots taken too that have gone her way as well, and all this has led to an 11-point performance. Make it 13.
Add a steal to it. Morrison faked a pass and didn't gain anything from it, just ran into a wall.
Substitution for Surge. Number 5, Emma Ottawa. Steps up to the court.
Some debris on the court. Who knows what that's from?
Yeah, gotta make sure that's scrubbed off.
So Duel brings it up for the surge. Perot, she has 8 points on the night. Glendinning jumps the handoff. And make it 12 points on the night for Emily Glendinning.
She can shoot and she can lay him up too. She got a nice pass from Morrison in the third quarter to lay one up and in, and she does the same off the steal there to make it a 21-point game.
And Morrison tied up. If I'm reading the jump ball rule correctly, I think this is Lord's ball.
Substitution for Lords, number 5, Hannah Haymoren comes in at number 14.
Hannah Hamonen comes in. Glendinning heads out.
Well, it's going to go the way of the surge, it looks like.
And Oak tied up.
Looking at that finger again, too. Remember early on we saw Oak a little banged up in that similar area.
So this jump ball does go towards the Durham Lords.
Substitution for Lords, number 13. Ashley Lewis comes in for Lords, number 10. And Oak.
So Lewis comes back in. Hamonen's in. Littman, Kendra Oliver, and Brianna Morrison's your lineup for the Lords. Hamonen does well to keep it in bounds. Lewis gets the ball as it's poked loose. Morrison heads to the ground. And ball tied up is Ella Van Hall. Once again, stays with the Lords off of the possession arrow. Littman inbounds it to Oliver. Step back, and it's just mauled by Laura Mullen. That'll send Kendra Oliver to the ground, or to the free throw line.
Taking 2 shots. Is number 23, Kendra.
Speaking of fouls, Sean, looking at Deja Thompson on the bench, looks like they've updated the foul trouble she's in. So it is 5 for Thompson, and I see a green shirt over a jersey, so it looks like she is in fact done for the night.
So good to have that finally confirmed. Hence the mystery.
Yeah, hence the statistical troubles.
So Bathwell brings it up, and it's Duel. Once again, gets it poked loose. This time, Hamanen in transition, puts it off glass, and Brianna Morrison's there for it. Gets tied up with Bathwell.
Well, there again, there's that ball pressure, and Hammond are able to strip it away like we've seen the Lords do so many times tonight. That leads to the opportunity the other way, where Durham will have 17 seconds on the shot clock to draw something else up.
Dennis will come on in. And Hamanen gets an easy bucket. 65-40 lead for the Durham Lords. 6 minutes left here in the fourth. Van Hall is going to be heading to the line looking to chip into this Lords lead.
Just the way you wanted to start this quarter, if you're the Lords, to close things out. Not a single point for St. Lawrence yet. 11-0 run, I should say, for the Lords. With 6:30 left in this quarter.
Taking 2 shots for Surge is number 23, Ella Van Hall.
So Van Hall shooting 1 of 2 and makes the first. St. Lawrence is going to need a big 6-minute stretch here if they're looking to spoil the Durham Lords' potential chances at finishing atop the OCAA East.
Reserve, number 23, Ella Van Hall.
Hamanen. Morrison cutting into the paint. Oh, and what a pass. Unable to convert. It was Hamanen. And you know, she knows how beautiful that pass was.
Yeah, she also a little bit disappointed as well with how that shot ended up, in and out.
Yeah.
Most disappointing shot a basketball player can hope for, I'd imagine. You think you have it, but sure enough, it rolls out on you.
It's back-to-back misses for Hamanen, and she makes it up with a steal in transition. Pulls it back, and she brings it over to Logo. Just under 6 minutes remain, and Morrison. Three-point shot is no good. Smith using a screen from Van Hall. Samantha Nelson putting up a tough shot. So red ball.
Also some changes.
We'll see Perot come back in as well as Lilia Graham. Both have been productive at times here tonight.
Perot leading the way with 8 points. They're scoring on the night for St. Lawrence.
Lippman. Finds Sarah Dennison. Ball gets knocked loose almost immediately. A mad scramble for the ball. Ends up in Surge's hands. And a bit too strong out of bounds for Jada Warren.
Substitution. For Lords, number 14, Emily Glendenning, steps on the court.
Morrison heads off, Glendenning on.
12, Martina Barnes, steps on the court.
Handoff to Lewis. Hamanen, and that's blocked by Lauren Smith. Step in for Glendenning, no good. And mid-range Jimmy from Warren is no good. Bit of an interesting lineup here for the Surge. Not sure if it's quite the white flag lineup, but a few players who haven't gotten a ton of time here tonight, as we see McKenna Barnes in, as well as Samantha Nelson and Jada Warren. Timeout coming here.
That's timeout too. And you mentioned the lineup that St. Lawrence had out there, Sean. I can't imagine head coach Taryn Turnbull thinks this night's going to go any better down what is it, 17 with about 6 minutes left or 5 minutes left in this fourth quarter. At St. Lawrence, they're in a little bit of a battle here. They have some teams behind them in the standings trying to keep that third seed. So keep your top players rested. Maybe is the way to go for the rest of this game. With a few games left in your season, you're trying to keep that top 3 seed out of the hands of any other teams below you. And it's pretty close. Other than the top 2 teams, Durham and Algonquin, it's pretty close down towards the 3rd to 6th seeds too. A couple other schools battling to get in that top 3 spot that St. Lawrence is in right now.
So ball inbounded to Littman. Lewis looked like she was going to come out for a screen, opted not to do so. Pretty flat-looking offense for the Lords, finally developing some shape towards the end, and Glendining's shot is no good. Hamanen pokes it out of bounds, but it will stay with the Surge. Gathered up by the Lords. Glendining has all sorts of room in transition. It looks like they just forgot about her and kind of stunned her with how wide open she was. Littman. It's Hamanen driving baseline. Push shot is no good. Into a sea of hands, it will be McKenna Barnes who comes away with the rebound. So the Surge getting some time for a trio of first-year players. Make that a quadrant of first-year players.
Emma Bothwell, McKenna Barnes, Samantha Nelson, Jada Warren, to be exact.
So inbounded once again to Hamanen as the Lords grinding away at this over the last 3 minutes and into the last 3-minute mark here at the end of the first game of the night. Don't forget the men's team will be in action right after this.
So don't go anywhere.
Yeah. And they've been an entertaining team to watch throughout this entire season, looking to bounce back after a couple high-profile losses.
Even still, men's team back in second place as well. Both men's and women's team in second place in their respective leagues.
And shot no good from Lawrence Smith. Transition and picking up a foul is Perot.
Alicia Lewis getting the foul total. That's going to be her third.
And this is the first. And almost a lane violation for Glendining and Lewis as they both tried to get a head start.
Yeah, Lewis had to pick her balance back up there. Almost fell trying to do that, but fortunately for the Lords, nothing bad occurs out of that.
Hamanen looking to find Morrison, who heads to her knees. I believe this is an over and back, and it is.
Morrison laughing that one off a little bit. At first, initially, I thought it might have tweaked something as she turned around, but it looks like it's just just having a little fun out there with her teammates.
And don't forget, after this, just 2 games remaining. Centennial Colts will be next Friday here. That will be senior night as well, so we'll be honoring the graduating seniors of the men's and women's basketball teams here in Oshawa. And then that one big matchup to end the season. Of course, we may have some playoff games here in Oshawa as well, but that Algonquin Wolves game, that one will be a big one, must watch for OCAA basketball fans.
Gonna watch big time. That'll determine most likely the winner of the Eastern Conference in that game.
Littman into Hamanen, and up and under. Hamanen finds Pater. So just under 2 minutes remain here. As the ball is longest jump call, or like longest wait for a jump ball foul. There's been some quick whistles on that tonight. The referees were content to just let them tug away at it.
There have been some quick whistles, some extra whistles, maybe a little bit late like that one, but
I'm honestly curious, like the fact that Deja Thompson fouled out the way that she did. I'm curious to watch it back and see if I just missed it.
Yeah, like we watch them and kind of count how many fouls.
Yeah, that was wild.
That play too, yeah. Because I wasn't sure for a sec. I thought originally she was sitting on 3-4, but
to pick up 4 fouls in the first half just seems like
it seems a little mind-boggling, doesn't it?
Yeah, and even as a coach, you're thinking, well, you pick up your 3rd in the first, I'm sitting you. So it's a wild thing. I'm not even sure that Sherlyn knew that she had as many fouls as she did.
I believe
there was no rush to take her off once she fouled out. They had to come over and be like, hey, like.
Either or, it's not going to matter here. 1:17 left, up 26, if my math is correct.
Duel for 3, and finally takes the lid off her basket from deep. 10 points on the night for her. It's a 20-point lead for the Lords, or a 23-point lead. Hamanen gives it back to Dennis. Oak, shot clock down. Hamanen has to put it up, and it'll be a shot clock violation. So 44 seconds left, 23 on the shot clock. Tough night at the office for the Surge, but this Durham Lords women's basketball team been so adaptive all season, has won in multiple different ways, and that'll be Lewis picking up the foul.
Yeah, just what can you do against a team like this? A lot of offensive structure with this team, a lot of reshaped forms of this team. We were talking about the identity earlier of this team and how it's changed dramatically over the course of the offseason, Sean.
Yeah, getting Kendra Oliver back from injury, I think, is going to be really key. Once again, heading into the playoffs, and it's almost mirrored itself on the other side with the men's team, as they're just waiting to see what's happening with Shane with his leg injury. The fact that they're even talking like, well, he might be good to go. That's crazy to me, but
yeah, the men trying to get as healthy as they can as their time for the playoffs is coming up too.
Always seems to be that same discussion when it comes to playoff time, is who's the healthiest, and you can usually guess they have a fair chance of things. Hamanen looking to find Littman, turns the ball over, 3 seconds left. And a bank bucket to end the game cuts the score to a 19-point Durham Lords lead. 69-50 here in the first game of the evening, and a big-time performance from Brianna Morrison with 22 points. Oliver rejoins the lineup with 15 points, and 12 points from Emily Glendening. Amber Perot on the other side with 13. Big win here for the Lords as they look to surge towards that final matchup against Algonquin.
So you did there, Sean. A little surge towards the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, Durham, they played the game they wanted to play tonight. Offense all around. Brianna Morrison there when she needed to be. A little quiet in that fourth quarter to close things out, but already with her job with 22 of Durham's 69 points, and the depth scoring took over towards